Hello and welcome to All Daily today. Today I will be talking about
Conflict of culture.
like I spoke about it last week. I got inspired by the video I made for some client culture. But before then, let's be hydrated. It's good to the weather is very hot, so it's good we take some liquid one way or another. Okay? Culture is what identifies a society. I had a girlfriend who was Yoruba for more than 8 years, which we never got married. And then at some point before then, I had a very quick Ebera girlfriend, which didn't last much. Alajikanta, she's late. She got married and had a kid. The the Yoruba one, she got married even before me. Well, I don't know how to explain this, but I will try my best. Cultural conflict. I'm Fulani, but I lost my own culture. I grew up in the Hausa land. I grew up instead of my favorite food to be maybe fura and nono, it ended up being shinkapa dawaki, which is basically rice and beans, right? And then it's very complicated. I can't speak a word of Fulfulde, which is my own language. Then I don't understand the culture of the Fulani at all because I don't know it. You see, the culture got lost along the way. Yet, we still tend to claim the culture at some point. I'm confused. I don't know what is happening. I'm not the only one. What is your own culture? What identify us in our society? Our society, if you look at it, we are kind of okay. If I as Fulani by culture, by 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 my own language which I cannot speak in any way, who grows in the Hausa land, got married to another culture, which is Yoruba or Igbo or any other language in the country, then what will be the culture of our children? Obviously, the culture for our children will be Nigerian culture. So when you look at it at some point, we are one of those that add to the problems of our uncultural problems. When we talk about culture, trust me, it's not going to be possible for me to talk about culture in just one video. So, but just put at the back of your mind, like I said earlier, that culture simply identifies a society. It what gives identity to that certain group of people in a society. It gives them the identity, the sense of identity that okay, this is who we are. Take the culture of tea, for example. Every different culture make tea differently. That's a universal thing to talk about. Take the Indians, for example. They make tea with milk, spices, and some other things like that, which make their tea to be rich and very sweet, obviously. But go to the Turkish land, you will realize they make their tea black tea. They believe you are altering the natural taste of the tea. But what? They chew the sugar itself separately. That's culture for you. They grew up like that. They over generations and generations they do it that way. They have food called like lamajun, which is like a way of pizza. It's just like all this pita bread with some mincemeat and I think parsley or something. It's nice. When you go to the Indian land, you realize they have chapati, which is also more of like the pita bread, but then it's been rolled with some pieces of chicken, and then you can make different type of sauce for it. like chicken sauce, which means the sauce will be diced with pieces of chicken, and then or beef, depending on what you want in it. And then come back to the Hausa. Do we have tea? Is it our own culture? I don't believe so. Probably from the Arabian ones. You see? Like I told you, I'm confused. I'm already claiming the Hausa culture because that's the culture I grow up inside. Inside, that's the culture I grow up within. I can't come and claim manshanu, which is basically ghee. When you look at ghee, when I was growing up, I could remember I used to take ghee, but at some point, something happened. One of the eats like that in my grandmother's house. We were eating tuwo, me and Taushe, when we returned from the mosque, when we returned from the Eid. And then I vomited after eating it, and then that was the last time I've ever eaten ghee. I don't like the smell. And you're not Fulani if you don't take ghee. Milk, which we call kindirmo, and then ghee, that's a Fulani thing. You have to take it. So when we talk about cultural conflict, at some point we all are victims, most of the time. If you are not a victim of cultural conflict one way or another, then probably someone is. And I'm basically trying to focus or streamline this whole topic I'm talking about today, the cultural conflict, solely and basically on marriage, marital issues, because if we talk of culture, it's a very diverse area, it's a very wide angle that I cannot finish talking about culture in just this one video. Except if you want, we will have to have series of videos about culture. Then we will touch different areas. As you can see, I just spoke about tea alone, and I was able to dissect tea in two different culture with some little variations and what have you. You know, it's just like the Italians with the tomato, the spaghetti, and some other stuff like that. Okay, I think I have a story about these cultural issues. The wife is Italian, and then the husband is American. So they had issues and they went to the therapist, all these marriage counselors. They were discussing their issues with the counselor, and the counselor couldn't realize what was going on. And at some point, the wife was like, I used to give him always the best of the bread. Do you know what? The best of the bread to Italians is the last slice. That's the top and the bottom of the slices. They love that. And to the Americans, that's like the food for the dog. That's how they take it. It's like you're disrespecting them. But to the Italians, you're honoring your guest if you have a guest. So she was all along, over their years of marriage, she was trying to just honor her husband. So when we talk of cultural conflict, this is a typical example that I can give you to understand what conflict of culture is all about. They went home because they already understood where their problem is. They believe it's because, okay, they have different cultures, so they need to communicate more on some other more issues. And basically, that was the only issue they had. For him, she was giving him dog food, and to her, she was what? Respecting him, giving him the honor he deserves in an Italian way. And then he was seen it in another perspective in the American way. So when we talk about cultural conflict, we have to understand that we must accept other people's culture so that we live together. If I am Fulani and I grow up in the Hausa land, and my favorite food changes to all this, and then you are another culture. Trust me, we can coexist together if we want. All I need to do is try your food, you try mine. Respect my culture, I respect yours. Listen to me, read about my own stories. Know how my culture is, and then I know yours. And trust me, that way we will live together as one. This is All E Daily, and see you another time. Peace.